Scaling your law firm doesn't have to be difficult. It's all about mastering a few key strategies, systems, and mindsets. Welcome to the Scalable Law Podcast, where we talk about how you can increase profit in your pocket and time in your calendar. My name is Carolee Fontanelli, and I have successfully scaled my firm so that it doesn't solely rely on me. Now I love teaching other law firm owners how to do the same. Let's transform your business starting now. Welcome to another episode of the Scalable Law Podcast. It's so great to have you here. Well, last week with Scalable Law, we flew to Sydney and we had a wonderful week down there with a whole bunch of clients. We had 3 full action-packed days. So the first day was a law firm intensive. We had 55 firms there, which was awesome. And for a full day, we worked on their law firms. So we worked on attracting clients, we worked on building teams, and we worked on automating law firms. And then we left with a 6-week plan. It was so great. And one of the things that I love most about these days is everyone connecting with each other and learning from each other, which is so awesome. There is a massive brains trust in the room, so much experience, and yeah, it was really great. We had our coaches from Scalable Law there and a lot of fun. We were at Manly Surf Club, which was beautiful. It was so gorgeous. The only thing was that it was literally like the hottest day ever in Sydney. So anyway, everyone was a great sport about the heat. We couldn't help it. And it was a beautiful location. A great place to find inspiration and really work on the business. So everyone walked away with a plan and I had a great day. Then that night we hung out with a few clients, which was really good. Got to know each other. And then the following day, we went over to Sydney City on the ferry, which was fun. And we had a lunch, which was hosted by Scalable Law and Clio. So we hosted about 20 law firms for lunch, which was great. And then following that, the next day was the Smoke Ball conference. So that was great just to go and see everyone, say hi and mingle around, see the latest products that are out. And Smoke Ball do a great job at the conference. So it was a fantastic 3-day extravaganza, you could say, down in Sydney. So I really enjoyed it. So thank you for everyone who I bumped into and saw, and the clients that came to either the lunch or the intensive day. It was absolutely awesome. That's what has been happening in the latest in Scalable Law. But today, what I really wanted to talk to you about is the numbers that actually move the needle forward in law firms. Most law firm owners, what I find, are super busy, and often lawyers aren't great with numbers. It's just not our jam for some reason. And many law firms are generating revenue, but very few truly understand the numbers that are moving the needle forward in the business. And this is so important. If you want to grow and scale your business, you absolutely need to know the numbers. So in this episode, I'm going to unpack the most important metrics as a law firm owner that you should be tracking across 3 key areas. So client acquisition, team performance, and maybe team performance is you as a solo, or maybe you've got a larger team, and profit and loss. And when you understand these numbers, growth becomes intentional instead of reactive. Who feels like they're reactive in their law firm right now? Like you're just running from one thing to another. But instead, when you're using the numbers, you move from guessing to leading, which is so important when you're running a law practice. So this episode, we're going to walk through the key metrics that influence profitability, capacity, cash flow, and also long-term sustainability so that you can make informed decisions about your law firm with absolute confidence. So the reason most law firm owners struggle with numbers, in my experience working with so many law firm owners, the issue, of course, isn't intelligence, it's visibility. Many firms track revenue, some track billable hours, some don't at all, but few track the right leading indicators. Revenue is a lag indicator. By the time you notice a problem, it's often too late to fix it really quickly. The firms that scale sustainably track numbers that predict performance moving forward before the financial pressure shows up in the business. So let's break down 3 categories. So the first is client acquisition metrics, so attracting clients and retaining clients. The second is team performance metrics. And the third is profit and loss metrics. So let's dive a little deeper into each of those. So let's talk about client acquisition metrics that drive growth. So without consistent client acquisition, everything becomes unstable in the practice. These are the numbers that influence pipeline strength and future revenue, right? So numbers of inquiries per week and month is super important. This is definitely a number you should be tracking. This is your top of funnel visibility metric. And what you should be tracking is the total number of inquiries, inquiries by source, and inquiries by practice area. And what this helps you to identify is which marketing channels are working, which area of law and practice areas are generating demand, and whether your pipeline is growing or shrinking. So this is so important, and this is definitely numbers that you should be tracking in your business. The next is cost per inquiry. So if you're using paid marketing, it's important, but even if you're not using paid marketing, there is a cost to every marketing activity you do. Referrals have a cost, and also organic has a cost as well. So you should be tracking cost per inquiry, cost per book consultation, and cost per retained client. Without this, any marketing activities become unpredictable rather than strategic. And what we want is we want you to be super strategic, because any marketing effort, I say, is it's important that you're putting that time into things that actually work, and money often as well. So make sure that you're tracking those things. Next, we want to look at the consultation booking rate. So of all the inquiries received from the top of the funnel, what percentage actually booked a consultation? So if your inquiry numbers are strong but bookings are low, the key issue is likely speed to lead, phone handling, booking systems, or the follow-up process. So if we know that number, then we can find what the issue is, or alternatively, we can find what is really working in your business, and we can keep doing more of that. Next is the consultation conversion rate. This is one of the most important metrics in a law firm, particularly if we want to take you as the law firm owner off initial consults and sales calls at some point down the track. So of the consultations that have been conducted in your firm, what percentage converted into retained paying clients? A small improvement in conversion can really dramatically increase revenue without increasing marketing spend or effort, right? If you've got people in your practice that convert at 19% versus converting at 40%, which person should you be giving the initial appointment to? Exactly. But how do you know if you're not measuring it, right? So you might be dishing out initial appointments, and you might have some team members who just are hopeless at converting. We can work with them. We can help them to convert better, or we can give more consultations to the people who are already converting well. This is going to really help increase your lead flow. So for example, 50 consults at 50% conversion is 25 retained clients, whereas 50 clients at 70% conversion is 35 retained clients. There's a big difference for not a lot of effort. And those numbers could even be worse. I mean, in my firm, I had people converting at under 20%. because some lawyers have never had sales training and they just don't know how to convert. So if we can help them get there, it's going to make all of the difference. And that is definitely going to impact your revenue and profit. Another metric or number that's so important is your average matter value. You absolutely need to know this number. Your average matter fee per matter by practice area, fixed fee versus time-based matters, and variability between lawyers. So one lawyer might have an average dollar spend of $10,000 per matter, whereas the other lawyer might have an average dollar spend of $15,000 per matter. It's really important to know this. But your firm will also have an average, and this can really help you out with knowing how to market, how many people you need to get through the door to make your firm viable and more profitable and things like that. If you don't know your average matter value, pricing decisions really become guesswork, which we absolutely don't want. So I've just covered off very briefly some of the client acquisition metrics that drive growth in your law firm. We're going to now move on to metrics around team performance that influence capacity and profit. So revenue growth without operational structure really increases pressure, which is not what we want. These metrics determine whether your team can sustainably handle growth or whether we're going to need to do something more in the team. So first up, we need to know your utilization rate. So what this measures is the billable hours divided by the available working hours. It tells you whether your lawyers are underutilized, loaded, or operating at capacity. Low utilization can signal inefficiencies in the team or in the business itself, and high utilization rates without structure can absolutely lead to burnout. And you don't want to burn yourself out or your good team members out either. So be super mindful and careful of that. Next up, we've got realisation rate. So this measures billed hours. So when I'm talking about billable hours or billed hours, if you are fixed fee, you still have hours in the day that you can bill, right? I know you're not billable hour, you're fixed fee, but it still takes time to do the tasks that you need to do. So just keep that in mind, even if you're fixed fee, okay? So realisation, in other words, if you are fixed fee, this still relates to you. You've still got people in your firm, including yourself, who only have so many hours a day, who can only physically do so much work. So we need to know utilization rate. We need to know realization rate. So what the realization rate measures is the billed hours divided by recorded hours. And what it shows is whether time is recorded is actually being billed, or whether write-offs are affecting revenue. A low realization rate often signals pricing issues or scope creep. So if you are fixed fee, this is super important as well. So don't skip these because you're fixed fee. 100%, you're still exactly the same as any other firm using the old-fashioned billable hour. Next up, we'd like to measure recovery rate. So this measures fees collected divided by fees billed. Strong billing isn't enough, right? We need to make sure that you are actually collecting because cash flow depends on collection. So ensuring you've got a good recovery rate is really important. Revenue per lawyer is a really powerful scaling metric that you absolutely should be tracking as well. So to track this, what we need to do is we need the total revenue divided by the number of fee earners. And or you can go in a little deeper and actually check the revenue of each of your fee earners. And so this isn't just work in progress or invoiced, but what monies have actually been received per lawyer, making sure that you can't see any patterns there that are undesirable. And what this number helps you to assess is productivity levels of your team, capacity for growth, and whether hiring is improving profitability or not. Next up, we want to look at your revenue per employee. So this is a broader metric and it includes all team members, not just your team members that are producing. So what it shows is overall operational efficiency and whether your support structure is aligned with your revenue output. It's also really important to work out a break-even point on each of your fee earners in your practice. So that's a really important number to know too. Next up, we've got matter turnaround times. So how long does it take to complete a matter in your firm on average and per matter type? A faster turnaround is going to do a whole lot of really good things for your business. It's going to improve client satisfaction. It's going to give you more Google reviews, which is awesome. And it's going to improve capacity and it reduces work in progress just sitting there and not actually getting to a finalized matter. Long turnaround times often hide process inefficiencies. So what can we do here once we've started measuring matter turnaround times to improve the efficiencies within the business? So we've just covered off a whole lot of team performance metrics that influence capacity and profit. I hope those are super helpful to you. We're going to move on now to our next category, which is profit and loss metrics that determine sustainability. These are the numbers that ultimately determine whether your firm creates freedom or stress. Now, as a law firm owner, something that I noted for myself was that as the firm owner, the business owner, I was the last one to be paid. Everything else would be paid first, including even the tax man, before I got paid. And so it's really important that you've got a business that you're able to pay yourself first because there's plenty of profit and money there. Otherwise, what happens is the business becomes really stressful and you're just working for a really bad boss yourself. We don't want that. We want freedom and profit. That's why you started the firm in the first place. So let's talk about your gross profit margin. So your gross profit margin is revenue minus direct costs of delivering your legal services. And what this helps you to understand is whether pricing is sufficient, whether certain practice areas are profitable or not, and whether the staffing structure is appropriate. So knowing those numbers is really going to help with that. Then we've got your net profit margin. So this is your revenue minus all of your expenses. Now, many law firm owners are surprised when their revenue looks healthy, but the net profit is thin. So tracking this monthly is really crucial. Now, I've had years in my firm where I've had incredible revenue, but the profit just hasn't been there. Or I've had amazing revenue and I've cleaned up a whole lot of stuff and it is there. So I've got a really great resource that you could download for free on my website, and it's called the Profit Leaks Checklist. Go ahead and download that because it's going to help you really look at how we can actually get more profit out of where you're already at right now. So yeah, you definitely don't want to have too many years where your net profit is low, but your revenue is high. What that means to me is that you're going to have a lot of stress, but you're not being rewarded for it as a business owner. And what we really want is we want you to be rewarded financially for all the hard work that you're putting into being a law firm leader and growing a firm. Next, we're going to be looking at this metric, which is fixed costs versus variable costs. So this is you knowing your fixed monthly operating costs and your break-even revenue point. You should know this off the top of your head. If you don't, you have some work to do, my friend. You definitely need to know that. We have a profit calculator as well for free on the website. So go ahead and download the profit calculator. It will help you with this. And that profit calculator will give you some clarity on your minimum revenue required, your risk exposure, and your hiring timing, which is so important. Another important metric to know is your work in progress. So this is the unbilled work that represents revenue that you've not yet realized. Excessive work in progress impacts cash flow and distorts performance visibility. Work in progress, I believe, should be monitored every week and, if possible, billed every single month. Do not leave it just sitting there. It's not good for business, and it will lead to client complaints. So make sure that you move that work in progress through to an invoice and collect that money as soon as you can. Another important number to look at is debtors and average collection time. So lots of law firms have debtor issues. It's totally normal, particularly in those early years, because we're quite lenient when we shouldn't be. So what you need to do is track the total outstanding invoices and the average days to payment, and make sure that you put some processes and systems in place so that you are always keeping track of those invoices and collecting timely. Strong revenue means little without money coming through the door, right? Next up, the next number is profit per matter type. So not all matters are equal. Some are difficult and don't produce the money that you want. Some practice areas really do generate strong margins, they are process efficient, and they have predictable scope. Others may require heavy oversight, produce really frequent write-offs, and create team pressure. Are they worth keeping? You need to look at those and really think about, is that the right way to be running a business? Without analysing profitability by matter type, strategic decisions really do remain unclear. So the most overlooked metrics and leading indicators are that firms focus on revenue, but revenue tells you what's already happened. They don't tell you where you're at now. And if you've had a great revenue, but a bad profit for the last 12 months, there's nothing you can do about it after 12 months has passed. So it's really important that you start tracking these numbers. Now, if you want to know more about tracking these numbers and how to do it, these are the kind of things that we do in the Accelerator program. We implement strategies so that you are really clear on these numbers so that you can start growing your business with certainty and with confidence because you know exactly what is happening. Like I said before, there's those free resources that you can download on my website. So go ahead and do that. And of course, if this episode has resonated with you, subscribe to the podcast so you can tune in again. Or it would be great to jump on a call with you. We offer a 15-minute growth call. It's totally free and no obligation, no pressure. And we just talk to you about your firm and work out where you are now and where you want to be going and whether or not we can help you get there. So it would be great for you to book a strategy call with one of our team, and we'll help you to identify these metrics that are going to move your business forward. All right, that's all I have for you today. I hope that you're having a fantastic week, and we will see you again soon. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Scalable Law Podcast, brought to you by the Scalable Business Lounge. If you would love to know how you can get more clients without relying on referrals, head over to scalablelaw.com to watch my free masterclass. Until next time, you have got this.